Now listen, you can flex and say you've been studying, you can act like you're studying, but when it's all said and done and you get to that exam, did you study? Hey y'all, it's Kameron Monet coming to you guys with a new video. So this long awaited video about the bar exam, I'm actually going to be doing 3 to 4 videos about the bar exam. I have so much information I want to give you, but I also don't want to overwhelm you guys, so I'm sorry that I'm uploading this video super late. I would have liked to upload this video before January, which would have been before you start to apply for the bar exam for the state that you want to practice. So sorry guys, I hope this is still helpful, and I will definitely have a part 2 which will be all about scheduling and just getting into the flow of the bar exam and more details about while you're studying and things of that nature. This is more of just like an intro video into what the bar exam is, how to apply, how much it costs. And I know a lot of people, 3L specifically, that just graduated, JD, okay, I see y'all. On people that just graduated, you already have went through this part, but I'm gonna give some words of encouragement, motivation, and things of that to kind of go into part 2 of this series. So first off, if you haven't watched my video, that is a message to law students. Definitely check that out. I'll link it in the cards here as well as down in the description box below so you guys can check that out. I just want to say again, congratulations for graduating and congratulations for getting through online classes with law school. Especially for people that have never taken online classes at all ever. I know that was challenging, but you did it by the grace of God. Amen. Hallelujah. Okay, so the bar exam, for people that just don't know what it is the examination that you need to be a licensed practicing attorney in the state of your choice. You have to take the bar exam in every state that you practice. Of course, there are some ways around that. If you're working on a case in another state, you can pay the court in order to practice in that state for a specific case and things of that nature. So there's ways around it, but you do need to be a licensed practice attorney in one state. Like, that's just off jump if you want to practice law. If you don't want to practice law, got your JD, you're good, okay? But if you do want to practice law, you got to take a bar exam. So when deciding where to take your bar exam, where do you want to practice, where is your job offer, things of that nature to consider. When should you take the bar exam? There's no perfect time where you should or shouldn't take it. It kind of just depends on your own personal life choices, what you plan on doing with your degree, things of that nature. Of course, it's easier if you graduate in May and you plan on taking the July bar exam because you're planning on doing it with everyone in your class or with other people that are planning on taking in July. July is really like the average traditional kind of time to take it, but there's also the February option. So if you graduate early or if you'd rather wait until the next following year, February, to take it, that's perfectly fine. It all just depends on what you plan on doing. Again, so because of the coronavirus, a lot of people are having to take the bar exam later. And it just sucks. It's unfortunate, but it could be a positive because you're able to study a little bit longer. However, I definitely understand the cons because it's like, should I start working now? Will my job allow me to have that time off? Do I still have a job offer? And things of that nature. So I'm not just looking over that while I'm giving these tips and tricks. I'm definitely not looking over that, but I'm just kind of talking more on the traditional quote unquote sense, just to help, because the studying is going to be hard regardless. It's a hard exam. It's the pressure of the exam. It's the stress behind trying to understand all the information at once, combined with the desire to really want to pass the first time. So it's crazy. So yeah, deciding when to take it, I highly suggest if you plan on taking the bar exam, period, and you graduate in May, go ahead and take the July bar. Do it. You're already in game mode. You've already been studying. You're still in school mindset. Why not go ahead and take the July bar? Also, keep in mind that it takes a while to get the results back. I took the July bar at the end of July. I didn't get my results back until the end of September. So it's that gap, depending on your job offer or what's expected of you. You have to consider, okay, am I going to work during that time? Am I going to take that break off? Do I have the financial means to be able to do that? So I did end up starting work before I got my results. So I started work the first week of September, got my results at the end. Thank God I passed. And then I got sworn in a month later. So it's just a long process. So from July to October is when I really finalize my legal career. It's a long process. Law school in general, if you're a prospective law student, like, it's just, the whole thing is a long process. Like, from start to finish, it's just a process. And it's a process that really starts I would say the process of the bar exam starts January of the year you plan on taking the bar exam, if you're taking it in July. So if you graduate in December and you're taking the February bar, the process would start further out when you first have to apply for that bar exam. So you have to apply and you have to pay for the application. So that fee is expensive. Total from start to finish, the cost of the bar exam, I'm speaking again, I took Alabama bar, was almost $1,000, somewhere between $900 and $1,000, and that's including all the fees up to leading to me actually taking the exam. So when you look on your application website, they have, I'm looking at Alabama's by the way, so there is the bar exam instructions. I highly recommend reading that. If you have any type of bar exam instructions, or you have an email from your school, anything of that nature for a time frame, deadlines, read that first. Get it on your calendar, get a to-do list, and get it done, okay? Because it's going to be a ton of information and a ton of things required of you during this process. So third year, second semester is crazy, okay? It's crazy. You're trying to figure out the bar exam, you're trying to graduate, you're trying to get your jobs in line, and things of that nature. So definitely read that. And then of course they're going to have the regular application packet. So it's going to contain like your personal information. You're going to need to know everywhere you've lived, every job you've had, and that can take time in itself, and you have 30 days to do that. So for us, it opened January 1st and it closed February 1st. You had to get everything in there, mailed, submitted, corrected, and all that by February 1st. There are additional documents that they request, which I had to do that. They'll give you an additional date. So you'll submit everything that you need to, and then they'll email you. So check your email, make that just a regular thing that you do. You should do that in general, especially being an attorney. I'm constantly having to check my email, constantly checking my calendar. So get into the habit now. You should kind of have already done that with law school, but to each his own. I'm like to-do list like a fiend. But yeah, and also you might have to get like your driving abstracts, any type of criminal thing. If you had any criminal record, you'd rather over disclose than under disclose. Let me just put it there. So anything that you think might maybe sort of be an arrest or conviction, like you need to say it or call to confirm, to check to make sure if that's something that you need to include. I had to call the Alabama State Bar because they said that they didn't receive a document that I had the receipt. So that's another thing. Make sure you're sending everything certified mail, get a receipt, get a confirmation number, something, so that you can track it yourself, because there was some kind of misunderstanding with the post office or misunderstanding at their office or something, but I got it worked out. Because at first I was freaking out like I missed the deadline, but I didn't. Thank you, Jesus. He'll do it. I started the application January 9th. I turned everything in January 28th. I had pretty much all of it before the 28th, but I wanted to review it, double review it, triple review it, quadruple review it, just to make sure I had everything correct. Also, they have a photo that you need to upload, and I was just like, what? It's going to be the size of like a passport. So I had to take a current one because I believe it needs to be within the past 6 months, I believe. You will need that for when you go into the bar exam. So that's just a quick overview. I didn't want to go into too much detail about it just because it may vary state to state. So I'm actually looking at the payment. Application fee was $575. The law student non-registration fee was $250. By the way, if you go ahead and submit some of this information, like the law school registration portion, the $250 could have already been taken care of. I just waited until last minute, so there's that. So there was that fee, and then there's $175, I believe, is the fee to use your laptop for the exam, which you basically have to do. So something else that you also are going to be required to submit are attorney affidavits, basically someone that is in the state that you want to practice in good standing, and they're going to say vouch for you. So it's basically like a letter of recommendation, law student, law school, bar exam version. So I believe I asked 2 of my Charleston coaches and then 1 of my professors, and it worked out good. Oh, I also think did I ask one of the attorneys at my firm? I can't remember. But I think I asked more than what you needed. So yeah, I'm looking at it. It says attorney affidavit times 3. So I think I asked more than 3 just to make sure I had more than enough. So that's another pro tip. Ask at least 5, because some people may be on time, other people might not be. And don't have any shame with following up and saying, hey, deadline's approaching, I need that, hey, this is what's going on. Even if these are not required to be submitted by the 1st or by that deadline that everything else needs to be in, just make it a habit. Just go ahead and get it done so that it's out the way, because you don't want to be worried about that at the end of the day. You just want to get everything in. I tried to get everything in, which I did get everything in by February 1st. That was it. It's kind of frustrating, and something that I feel like they don't really tell you, how expensive it is going to be to pay for the bar exam on top of trying to figure out which course. Luckily, my school offered 3 different courses, and you got to choose from the course. So of course the fees were included in our tuition, which is why tuition was high. So shout out to my student loans. But it definitely helped ease the process into taking the bar exam, because I just had to choose which course, sign up, get everything sent to me, and then hit the ground running once it was time for bar prep. Of course, the question is, what program do you choose? I truly believe that if you take any bar course, okay, any bar course, and you stick to that course's schedule, you do all that they tell you to do and then some, you will pass. Now you have to actually study, okay? Now listen, you can flex and say you've been studying, you can act like you're studying, but when it's all said and done and you get to that exam, did you study? Did you? That's the real. So you have to actually study, not procrastinate and I'm just gonna mess around and I'm gonna act like I'm studying, but I'm not really studying. No, you have to actually study. This is not a game. This is not, I can bull around the exam, excuse my language. I'm probably gonna. This is not a I can BS through this exam type of exam. Some people maybe you can, you know, maybe you can, but like your girl had to study, okay? I took Barbary. I was a Barbary rep ever since my second year of law school, so that's kind of why I just stuck with Barbary. I was familiar with like terms they use, their process, their software, their website, the people. I was just really familiar with it, so that's why I decided to go to Barbary. Also, Barbary tends to lean on the overload of information, so to say, so you tend to get a lot of information thrown at you, which could be a benefit because now you have all this information. But some people, like for instance Themis on the other hand, they're a little bit shorter when it comes to like their videos and their content, but you still get the wide spectrum of information. It just doesn't go as deep as Barbary does. I personally just wanted to have all the information that I could possibly have in front of me just in case. So it just kind of depends on your studying style. I didn't mind the long videos. Yes, it was annoying when people that were taking Themis, they're like, oh, I'm already done with my 1 hour video and I have like 3 hours left. But I think it just depends on your studying style. Definitely check on their websites and see the different courses. They should have like sample content so you guys can check that out, or reach out to them or to your school and say, hey, I just want to kind of look at the videos to see what they look like to make my determination on which bar course to take. I also know people that took Barbary, Themis, Kaplan, they all passed. It just depends on how much you're willing to study. Are you going to follow the course? Are you going to stay on schedule? Are you going to really make the sacrifice that it takes to pass the bar exam the first time, to get it, hit it and quit it? Okay, I'm saying like one and done was my mentality. I think I wrote that on like sticky notes everywhere in my apartment. I was just like, look, one and done, you did this, you passed. Like you have to get in that mindset, because a lot of the bar exam is mental, not intellectually. Of course, you have to be, you know, intellectually aware of the subjects, but seriously, you need to work on your like mental health throughout the bar exam, throughout bar prep. Prepare yourself beforehand. Just take time throughout the day to check in with your mental health, to make sure that you're eating, that you're sleeping. Of course, you may not be able to sleep 8 whole hours every single day. You should, but if you're not, just make sure you're staying sane through the process. If you believe in God, make sure you're praying, make sure you're reading the scriptures, make sure you're reading the Bible. Like just stay healthy all around, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, because that's going to help you keep pushing and be able to focus and actually obtain the information that you're trying to read, because it's a lot. I'm kind of all over the place in this video. Hopefully the editing will help. But also know beforehand, before you go into the bar exam, what subjects are in which part of the bar exam. So there's the multiple choice portion, the essay portion, and then the MPT. So that's going to be your more practical type of work. So such as like, for instance, we wrote 2 memos, but it could be like a client letter, demand letter, things of that nature. So I wanted to know which subjects intertwine between the multiple choice as well as the essay, because I know those are subjects that I really need to know, because they have the potential to be on 2 sections of the exam. So I wanted to start there, wrote those out. Then what other subjects could possibly be an essay? And those are the ones I wrote on a different section. And of course, like your bar prep material should have these separated and have all this information in there as well. Definitely read that information, get familiar with the website beforehand. Even if it's the day before, look at that website, get familiar with it, click around. If you have any questions, reach out to the support system or to your bar lead person. They usually assign a student as well as a regional director or someone of that nature to be the go-to person for the student if they have any questions. Definitely know who that person is. Decide if you want to show up to in-person live video or if you want to just watch the videos online. Barbary, I love that I have the option of both. I went to the live sessions as much as I don't think I missed one. Actually, I think I went the entire time. I might have missed like 1 or 2. Missed saying I just watched it online at home rather than going into the school. But I really liked having my schedule where I got up and had to be at a certain place at a certain time in the beginning to kind of get the ball rolling, to make sure that I'm holding myself accountable to watch every video, having my other classmates there, it was helpful. We can bounce ideas off each other. We can talk about this video so long, like torture of bar prep, but having that community and people that are going through it with you is so important. So a lot of people do some type of early start process for their bar prep. Again, I'm sorry this video is kind of late in the cycle, but for people that are watching this in the future, hello. But I did not do any type of early start. That just was my personal preference. I wanted to just take all the moments and times to relax beforehand because I knew how hard I was going to work to pass that bar exam. I did take a trip with my boyfriend. It was phenomenal. It was great just to kind of de-stress, even though of course it's always in the back of my mind. Even during graduation, it was just in the back of my mind, like the bar exam, the bar exam, the bar exam. So I just decided not to. Basically, I suggest relaxing as much as you can and just sleeping, eating, spending time with family, friends, and also give them a heads up. This is important. Let people around you know what you're doing and how much time it's going to take. Because I had to give my mom a heads up. I talked to her every single day and I had to tell her beforehand, listen, there may be a day or two that I don't talk to you. I'll send you a text to let you know I'm still alive, barely studying. But I just wanted everybody to be up on speed to know that I'm putting my all into this. So I might not be in the great mood all the time. I might not be able to make sacrifices like I used to be places, to show up to places, to be at birthdays or baby showers or weddings or whatever the case may be. I had to choose activities outside of bar prep very wisely, and I would hate to look back and be like, maybe if I didn't take that trip, or maybe if I didn't go to that thing, or maybe if I didn't do XYZ, I could have passed. Also, you want to stay, like I said, you want to stay sane. So yes, you need to get out. You need to breathe. You need to find your stress relief, whether it's working out. I did, one of my undergrad classmates, Bria, she has a online workout thing. I was in like the best shape because I was working out so much. I made that a part of my schedule. I also still spent time with my boyfriends, still spent time with my friends. We still laughed and joked, like all of us. Like I still called my mom and my aunt and my family. Like I still stayed in contact with people. It just wasn't to the extent that I could before starting bar prep, because it just takes up a lot of time and you want to be able to give it all that time without feeling guilt or pressure that you can't do these other things. So I just let everybody know this is what it is. If I'm in a bad mood, that's not me, that's bar prep. I don't know who she is or what she did or what she wants, okay? That's not me, who I am as a person. Y'all think, y'all might be laughing, but like this is real life, okay? Real life. Like, okay, so now you got everything submitted, you've been approved, you've graduated, got your grades, got your job lines up, you're all good and ready to go to study for the bar exam. You've relaxed your mind, body, soul. You talked to your family members, your friends, your significant other, gave them the heads up, and now you're ready to put your head in the game, okay? You're ready. You think you're ready. Hopefully you're ready. No, but seriously, okay, so now you're ready, right? Now this is where the planning begins. Now I would say a week out at minimum, that you already have a game plan of your schedule of what you plan on doing during bar prep. Now this sounds crazy, okay? Just bear with me. You need to have everything in order. You need to have as much in order where you don't have to think outside of bar prep. I'm telling you, it's gonna make your life way easier. If you're going into bar prep not sure where you're gonna study, when you're gonna study, are you gonna study with other people? Are you gonna eat out all the time? Are you gonna go to Starbucks all the time? How are you gonna pay for these bills? If you can, get everything automated so you don't have to think about it. I'm telling you, if that's like a major key. You do not want to have to be stressing about anything during the bar exam. Anything. If you're like, I don't feel like cooking this week, don't cook that week. Try to be healthy, okay? But don't try to put unnecessary stress on you about things that don't matter in the moment, because bar prep matters. So have a game plan. I tried to cook as much as I could, but I didn't feel like cooking. I wasn't about to stress myself over that. I'm gonna go get this pizza, okay? But I also was working out, so balance. If I don't feel like making my own coffee at home, I'm gonna go to Starbucks. And luckily that was something I asked for graduation. I had a ton of Starbucks gift cards, so I pretty much didn't spend too much money. And then I got rewards points too. So try to just have everything in order and in line as you can. I asked my boyfriend before this what would be his #1 tip for pre-bar prep, like going into bar prep, and he said, establish a routine, and that pretty much sums it up. You need to figure out what is going to be your routine during this so that you don't have to think about it. It just comes second nature. It's natural. Come up with a schedule, because it's not just Monday through Friday. Bar prep is every single day, 7 days a week. Okay, so you need to know every day I'm going to wake up at 7, and between 7 and 12 I'm going to study. I'm going to take an hour lunch break, and then I'm going to study until 5. And then some days in the beginning I was done really early, so I would say I was done like maybe 3 or 4 studying, but then closer to the time before the bar exam. All in all, you just want to be as much stress-free in every other area of your life, because bar prep is going to take a lot out of you. That is just the #1 takeaway from this video. Is it going to be hard? Absolutely. Are there going to be days where you're like, I just literally can't? Absolutely. But you're going to do it. You're going to get up. You're going to take an hour if you need to. Don't feel like you need to study every second, every moment of the day. That's just impossible for anybody. You're not going to be able to focus or comprehend the information and retain the information that you need to if you're stressed out in other areas, if you're hungry, if you're tired. So if you can, just set up yourself for success from the beginning. Right now, if you haven't done it, do it. If you don't have a schedule, make one. If you need to change it up, do that. Do what you need to do so that you can be successful during this time. It may differ from somebody else. I had one of my friends, I swear, it didn't matter how early I got to the school, she was there. She got up maybe 4 or 5 in the morning. That wasn't my testimony, okay? I didn't do that. That wasn't gonna work for me. But it worked for her, and she passed just like I did. So you have to find what works best for you, and it might not look like it looks for somebody else, and that's okay. That is okay. Oh, and another thing that you should really, really think about before you start bar prep, really before bar prep is even within a month out, or the earlier the better, look for hotels near the place that you're going to take the bar exam. You don't want to be too far where, Lord forbid, something happened and you're late. You just want, again, stress-free. As many things outside of the bar exam that can be stress-free, that's what you want to do. So decide if you want to stay in a hotel. I didn't, but where I stayed wasn't super far from the bar exam. I drove there. Another tip, I drove there beforehand, so I knew the route. I knew how I was going to get there. I knew where I was going to park. I just had everything in order, so I wasn't freaked out about staying at home. Plus, I knew how to get better rest staying at home. I had a routine with my breakfast, a routine with just everything, and I already knew, okay, if I do bring lunch, I'll put it in a cooler. I just had a game plan beforehand. That's something else to consider. Lunch also goes into consideration when you're trying to decide if you want to stay in a hotel. Where are you going to keep your lunch if you don't stay in a hotel? Are you going to put it in a cooler? That's what I did. Are you going to just not eat lunch, eat a little light lunch? I suggest eating something, even if it's just like peanut butter crackers. You don't want to be distracted by your hunger while you're in the middle of the exam and things like that. So take all that into consideration before you get into bar prep, because once bar prep happens, I swear I blinked and the exam was there. It's going to go by so fast. You're going to know so much more than you think. I literally walked into the exam and I was like, what is going on? I left the second day, so 2-day exam. I left the second day and I was like, should I start studying for February exam right now or what? Like, it's really hard, but I had to just pray harder than I ever did. I had to work out. I had to just be so intentional about my mental, physical, spiritual health. Like, I just had an emotional health. I just had to be so intentional about it. And I didn't realize that really goes with studying for the exam. You have to be in the right headspace. To me, that kind of defines the person that passed and the person that doesn't. If you're too freaked out, it's just too much. It's too much to take over. So you have to find ways to deal with the stress, to know that you're still going to pass, or know that even if you don't pass, it's not the end of the world. People take it more than once. People take it more than twice, 3 times, 4 times. I don't suggest it. Just don't think like, well, I'm just going to take it again because it's expensive and like it's a process. But don't think it's like the end of the world, because it's not. But you're going to pass. You're going to study really hard. Don't fake study. Don't cute study. Don't play study. I ugly studied, okay? I was studying. And you need to do the same. So, no, seriously, the bar exam was really hard. I struggled studying, but I studied really hard. I'd say I really kicked it into gear. Not saying that I didn't study before this, but around July 4th, you take a simulated exam, which is basically, it's supposed to determine how you do on the real exam. it said your girl was supposed to fail. Okay, I wasn't supposed to pass. According to that, according to my 1L GPA and grades, I wasn't supposed to pass the first time. But guess what I did? I passed the first time. So don't let the naysayers tell you what you can and cannot do, because you will study hard and you will pass that exam the first time because I said what I said, period. What a job. Seriously, so it was really hard. It was so hard. I had to take a social media break. I tried to keep you guys up to date. I studied literally any and everywhere. I studied at the library. I studied outside in the grass. I studied at a picnic table. I studied at home. I studied in every room in my apartment. I studied in the car. I studied, I mean, everywhere. At Starbucks. I studied at O. Henry's. Any coffee shop, you name it, I had studied there. Octane. I studied just anywhere because for some reason, like, moving around really helped me. So I don't know, but it was hard. These tips and tricks, y'all, like, are just to help you, to give you some additional push, some additional information, to go back when you're like, I just can't do this, to rewatch some of these videos and be like, listen, sis did it, I can do it. It was hard for her, so that it's hard for me. That don't make me any different. Don't feel ashamed if you're feeling like it's difficult. Don't feel like you can't reach out to people. Talk to a counselor, talk to a friend, talk to a family member. BetterHelp is a great app for counselors. They have live sessions. Like, just talk it out. Talk to yourself. Write it down. Journal. Something. Find what works for you to get through it. Because it's hard. That's just what it is. It's hard, but it's not impossible. So thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you have any other questions, leave them down in the comment section below. Good luck. In the next video, I will be talking more specifically about the day-to-day life of bar exam, my experience, study materials I use. I will show you guys some of my practice exams and really go deep dive into bar prep, what it looked like. I'll be talking about studying with other people. I'll be talking about additional materials outside of bar prep course materials that I use. I'll be talking about live lectures versus online lectures, the benefits. I'll also be talking about how to take efficient breaks, whether or not you should travel during this time, how to stay in contact with your job if you're already hired, and just a plethora of other things about the bar exam. Hope this was helpful. I feel like it was kind of all over the place, but I hope you guys got some good information from this. Again, if you have any questions, leave them below. Send me a DM. Follow me on Instagram, Kameron Monet. I love you guys. Good luck. It's hard, but I did it. Hundreds of thousands of attorneys before you have done it, and you will pass too. Love you guys. See you in my next video. Later.